Alright guys, I've been seeing a lot of forums, people saying that you cannot take a Romeo and swap it into a vehicle that has a Windsor. So we got a wreck 2005 Mercury Grand Marquis, and I actually need this engine in my work truck. That's a 99 Ford Expedition. Both of them is the 4.6. This is a Romeo, mine has the Windsor. You tell the difference by the VIN number. The digit in the VIN, this one is a W, and the one on the Windsor is gonna be a 6. See it clear in the door. This one a W, the one on the Windsor will be a 6. So I've done this before, but of course I didn't get any video of it, but it's a few things that you gotta change that's different on this one and the other one. I'm gonna try to do this video in one part. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to though. We're gonna see. At the most, maybe 2 parts, but I'll keep y'all updated on everything that you gotta switch to make this work. All right, we're sitting here with both engines. We got the old Windsor and the new Romeo. And we're putting it inside of this 99 Expedition, and it came out of that 05 Mercury. Now, I'm just gonna go over some things. First, before I do that, let me show you why we're doing this in the first place. This timing chain, the guides on it, completely shattered, and when the guides shattered, the pieces of the guides went into the oil pickup tube, and it completely starved the engine of oil. This whole side is messed up. It dropped 2 rockers right there. I don't know where this bolt came from. It's not in there nowhere. I don't know. And on the bottom, the back 2 cylinders, the rod cap seized up. So that's why we're doing this job in the first place. But just to highlight some of the things that you would have to change to make this possible. Oil filter housing. You gotta change the oil filter housing. If you look right here, you don't see a sensor right there. On this one, the sensor is right there. On the one that came out of the truck, the sensor is in the back. You got to change this reluctor wheel to read on your crank gear. So with that being said, having to change this, you got to change the whole timing cover. You might have a newer style Windsor, you might not have to change the timing cover, but on mine I have to change it because these 3 bolts right here are for my tensioner, and this is the old style tensioner where it just had 1 bolt going into it, and it would have been about right here somewhere. I don't have that one, so I got to change the timing cover on mine. When you change the timing cover, the crank sensor will be the same. On mine, I gotta change the water pump because I got a fan clutch on mine. This is an electric fan, so it didn't have no threads on that. The flywheel, I'm not sure right now if I have to change the flywheel, but I'm going to change it. I'm gonna change the flywheel anyway. The engine was seized on this one, so I haven't had a chance to get it off, but I'm hoping that I don't have to change the flywheel because I had some bad teeth on this flywheel somewhere, and it was causing the starter to miss sometimes. So I'm hoping I can keep the flywheel, but I'm gonna sit them side by side and check. The motor mounts. These are the old style motor mounts with the bolt that just go through. The motor mounts that came out of the vehicle are like this. No bolt on it, so you gotta change the motor mount. The motor mount will fit. And the last thing I think is the valve covers. You gotta change the valve covers. I think you can do it without changing the valve covers, but I would just change the valve covers just to be on the safe side. And, oh, I almost forgot. You got to change the driver's side manifold. This is the old manifold. It goes around and it plugs into the back of the intake. This one comes up and it plugs into the side. It's actually the back of the throttle body, but it's coming in on the side of the intake instead. I gotta change the intake on mine because I got the taller style intake. This is the intake. This is the intake that came off of it. So you see what I was saying with the This is how that intake would have sat on there, and the EGR comes in right here. On the other one, the EGR comes in from the side like that, but it's kind of sitting like over here. This is coilover plugs, and it's got a electronic fuel pressure sensor on it. Mine, as you see, got 2 coil packs and wires. So, and I got vacuum fuel pressure sensor on there as well. So that's about it. That's about all you would have to change to actually get this to work. I wouldn't be, if this video was uploaded, it worked. We put it in the truck, it ran. So if you're seeing this video, the next video you're gonna see is the complete engine drop into the truck. We're gonna redo all the timing chains because we got, this one is tight, but this one has slack in it right here. So we're gonna redo all the timing chains, change the reluctor wheel out, change that oil filter housing, and we should be good to go. All right, we got the truck put back together for the most part. The only thing we're missing is coolant and transmission fluid for obvious reasons. Got the battery charger going, so while I'm doing that, I'm gonna go over some things that I found that's not gonna work when you're swapping the engine over. So this is the old engine. On the old engine, we did say that you got to use the timing cover because on this pulley, it has the 3 bolts. On the other pulley, it had the 1 bolt. You got to use your intake off of yours. You can use either starter. Just make sure that the bolt holes line up. I know the newer starter gonna have a nose cone on it, but it'll still fit in the transmission as long as it's 2-wheel drive. I can't say about the 4-wheel drive. Valve covers. The valve covers will not work. You got to get valve covers with the new engine, or the valve covers might already be on the engine. My vehicle was wrecked and the valve covers was cracked in the front, so I had to get new valve covers because these wouldn't work. You can keep your fuel filter or oil filter housing. You can keep it, but the sensor is going to be moved. That's why I kept it, because I didn't want the sensor in the back. The sensor is going to be in the front now, but this is going to be smaller on the Romeo than it is on the Windsor. So keep that in mind, because you might have to play with some hoses. I just put a old style hose clamp on it and just tighten the piss out of it. You can use the same filter from this one on the new one too. Up under your timer cover, before you put your timer cover back together, this gear, you can use this gear on the new crank, and it'll make everything work. You can take everything off of the old vehicle, but you really can use, I know I said we was going to change the reluctor wheel, but we didn't. I kept the reluctor wheel from the new vehicle because when I looked at it, the top dead center mark and all of the other marks was the same, and this gear is thinner than the new gear. The new gear is thicker, so when you try to put the reluctor wheel from here on with that gear, it sticks out too far and you can't put the timer cover on. So I just use all of the new stuff. I even used the crank sensor in the Romeo engine too. On my engine, my knock sensor comes out the back, so the cord is long enough, the wire is long enough for you to run it out. You do have to change this sensor right here, the plug-in. It's just a plug-in that come out. You got to change that plug-in. This is the coolant pipe that sits up under your intake. It'll sit on the engine like that right there. You do have to change this out if you have that bottom plenum up under your intake, because it's going to interfere with your intake. This right here is what sits your reservoir. If you got the reservoir that sits up on the side of the engine, it sits like this right here, that plate. These bolt holes are a lot bigger than the ones that's on the Romeo. I didn't put mine back on. As you see, I got it still laying down there and I have it up. All I did was just mount it. I'm gonna tighten that bolt back up, and I just got it mounted up there for now. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Everything was, you know, like I said, you can use most of the stuff from this engine. It's gonna go in. The manifolds, you got to use the manifolds on this side, of course, for your EGR tube to go up, because on the other one it goes in the back of the engine. But on this side, even though the manifold will work and it'll fit, it will not bolt up to your exhaust pipe. It's close, but it will not fit. You're gonna fight with it. Just take it off, put your old one back on, and run it. Alternator the same. All the pulleys are the same. That's about it. I mean, everything else you're gonna be using off of yours, all the accessories, the intake, and everything like that. Yeah, I think that was the only thing that I seen that was different. I mean, those the only things that I seen that was different. Everything else, like I say, the same. We're gonna try to fire up right quick. Let's see what we got. Cycle the key a couple times, get some fuel pressure. I do have to, it's kind of loud on the exhaust. I do got to tighten up my EGR tubes. That'll kind of quiet that exhaust down. But yeah, that's it. Romeo swap into a Windsor.